The cinema camera world has always been an arena of excitement, competition, and anticipation, but September of 2025 felt like a real turning point for filmmakers and production teams everywhere. Two industry giants, Nikon and Canon, released new products that immediately stirred conversation and debate. Nikon, which has traditionally been seen as a powerhouse in still photography and hybrid cameras, made its most daring move yet by introducing the Nikon ZR camera, its first ever mirrorless camera built specifically for cinema. Canon, on the other hand, continued to build on its legacy with the introduction of the Canon C50, a camera that reinforces the brand's dominance in professional video production. At first glance, it might seem like both cameras are aimed at the exact same group of filmmakers who want high-end performance in compact packages. But when you look closer, it becomes clear that the two brands are taking very different approaches. Nikon is pushing itself into new territory, betting on a disruptive strategy to capture independent creators and smaller teams. Canon stays true to its heritage by refining its proven formula, making sure its tools work seamlessly for larger productions that demand consistency and integration. And then, looming over both of them, is Sony's FX3 camera, a camera that has long defined the balance between compact form and professional power. The question now is whether Nikon or Canon can finally shake that dominance and offer a compelling alternative. The design choices alone reveal much about the philosophies behind these cameras. Nikon's ZR camera is small, light, and minimal. It weighs just 630 grams and is closer in feel to a hybrid stills camera than a dedicated cinema body. The grip is modest, the card slots sit at the bottom, and its main video output is through micro HDMI. Right away, it becomes obvious this is a camera built with mobility in mind. The kind of person who might gravitate toward it is the solo filmmaker, the traveling documentarian, the vlogger who wants cinematic quality without carrying a heavy rig. Of course, this also means that anyone looking to use the ZR camera on a traditional film set will likely need cages, adapters, and extra gear to make it production ready. Canon C50 camera feels different the moment you pick it up. Though still compact, it has a purposeful body that feels like it was designed for cinema first and portability second. It comes with multiple mounting points, a full-size HDMI port, timecode support built directly into the body, and a top handle that features dual XLR inputs. And like Nikon's offering, the C50 camera doesn't need much additional rigging. Straight from the box, it feels ready to join a professional set where it can play nicely alongside other cinema tools. This is Canon sticking to what it does best, ensuring reliability, consistency, and integration for production teams. In essence, Nikon is chasing creators who value lightness and flexibility, while Canon is catering to professionals who need their gear to work flawlessly in a collaborative environment. The story only becomes more interesting when you dive into the sensors and recording options. Canon has introduced a 32-megapixel full-frame sensor that records in 7K RAW up to 60 frames per second using open gate. Open gate means the full height of the sensor is captured, which gives editors and colorists the maximum room for reframing or working with anamorphic lenses in post-production. The camera also shoots 4K at up to 120 frames per second with no crop and 2K at up to 180 frames per second, all while oversampling to deliver sharp, detailed footage. These capabilities make the C50 camera an obvious fit for narrative filmmaking, commercials, and any project where flexibility in post-production is essential. Nikon ZR camera, meanwhile, takes a different path. It has a 24-megapixel partially stacked sensor borrowed from the Z6 III camera. It shoots up to 6K at 60 frames per second without a crop and 4K at 120 frames per second with a 1.5x crop. On paper, it may sound less ambitious than Canon's 7K open-gate recording, but Nikon has a trick up its sleeve: codecs. For the first time ever at this price point, a camera offers internal 12-bit Redcode RAW recording, alongside Nikon's NRI and Apple ProRes. For only $2,200, this feature alone makes the ZR camera groundbreaking, because it delivers the kind of codec flexibility normally reserved for far more expensive cinema cameras. Canon C50 camera relies on its tried and trusted formats like Cinema RAW Lite, XFAVC, and XFHEVC. These formats might not sound as revolutionary, but they are deeply reliable and already widely used across professional pipelines. Canon leans into stability. Nikon leans into disruption. Color science has always been one of Canon's greatest strengths, and the C50 camera continues that tradition with multiple log profiles and HDR options. Canon Log 2 and Log 3 are joined by PQ, HLG, and YDR, ensuring filmmakers have plenty of flexibility whether working in HDR or SDR environments. Canon is also claiming over 15 stops of dynamic range, allowing highlights and shadows to be handled with impressive nuance. Filmmakers familiar with Canon's color science will know exactly what to expect: natural skin tones, rich but controlled colors, and files that grade beautifully. Nikon, however, isn't playing it safe either. The ZR camera introduces Redcode RGB with Log 3 G10 support alongside Nikon's N-Log, giving it a serious step forward in color options. Nikon also claims 15 stops of dynamic range in RAW, putting it on equal footing with Canon at least in terms of specifications. Where Nikon may have a real advantage is rolling shutter. Thanks to its partially stacked sensor, the ZR camera has sub-10 millisecond readout speeds in 6K RAW. This reduces skew and distortion during fast pans or handheld movement, something Canon's non-stacked sensor will likely struggle to match. Autofocus is another area where both companies are showing strength, but with different priorities. Nikon's ZR has a 273-point phase detect system that feels quick and intuitive. For a solo operator, this means reliable subject tracking and smoother transitions without having to think too much about manual pulls. Canon C50 camera uses a 153-point system enhanced by advanced algorithms that excel at tracking faces, eyes, and moving subjects with maximum reliability. Canon's system may not feel quite as flashy as Nikon's, but it is optimized for situations where missing focus is simply not an option. Low-light shooting continues this philosophical divide. Nikon camera offers a higher maximum ISO, making it more versatile in uncontrolled environments or dimly lit spaces. Canon, by contrast, has dual-gain architecture designed to produce cleaner results at normal ISO ranges, provided the lighting is set up correctly. Nikon's path is one of flexibility, while Canon's is one of consistency. Perhaps one of the most interesting differences lies in audio. Nikon has built 32-bit float recording directly into the ZR camera, along with AI-driven processing that can isolate voices and reduce background noise. This is a game-changer for solo creators, who can now capture broadcast-quality audio without needing external recorders or complex setups. Canon camera, however, sticks with the professional norm 24-bit audio through its dual XLR inputs, which are conveniently built into the top handle. For larger productions where XLR audio is a must, this setup makes far more sense. Nikon prioritizes independence, Canon prioritizes professional workflows. The displays also tell a story. Nikon's ZR camera comes with a 4-inch screen that offers 1000 nits of brightness and full P3 color coverage. It is designed to be visible in bright outdoor conditions, a significant advantage for creators who spend time shooting in uncontrolled environments. Canon C50 camera features a more modest 3-inch panel that does the job reliably but lacks the brightness to compete in harsh sunlight. It is another small but important indicator of each brand's priorities. Lens ecosystems add another layer to the decision. Nikon Z mount has grown quickly and now boasts over 130 lenses, giving creators a wide range of affordable and premium options. Combined with in-body stabilization, the ZR camera is capable of producing stable, cinematic footage even with lenses that lack built-in stabilization. Canon's RF mount is smaller in overall numbers but renowned for its optical quality. And crucially, the C50 camera supports anamorphic lenses, something Nikon currently does not. For filmmakers seeking that classic widescreen cinematic look, Canon has the edge. Workflow is probably the clearest dividing line. Canon has built the C50 camera to slot directly into professional productions. Features like timecode synchronization, mounting options, and Frame.io integration mean it is ready to be deployed in multi-camera environments without complication. Nikon's ZR camera takes the opposite approach. It aims to remove barriers for individuals and small teams by giving them access to high-end codecs and professional audio at a fraction of the cost, even if it means sacrificing some production integration features. Pricing reinforces these positions. At $2,200, the Nikon ZR camera is remarkably affordable for what it offers, putting internal Redcode RAW PROs and 32-bit float audio within reach of creators who would normally be priced out of such capabilities. Canon C50 camera, at $3,899, nearly doubles the cost, but its reliability, professional sensor, XLR inputs, and integration features justify the price for teams working on larger-scale productions. When the dust settles, what becomes clear is that Nikon and Canon are not competing for the same filmmaker. The ZR camera is disruptive, portable, and ideal for solo creators, hybrid shooters, and small teams who want maximum power at minimum cost. The C50 camera is designed for productions where workflow, reliability, and integration are absolutely non-negotiable. Nikon is democratizing access to cinema-grade features, while Canon is reinforcing its position as a leader in professional filmmaking. Neither truly dethrones Sony's FX3 camera just yet, but both cameras provide meaningful challenges to its dominance. Nikon disrupts with codec access at a budget price, while Canon strengthens its hold with a professional all-rounder. For creators working alone or with tight budgets, the Nikon ZR camera offers something genuinely exciting. For teams building serious productions, the Canon C50 camera remains a trusted and capable choice. More than anything, these releases mark a new era of choice. Filmmakers now have more freedom than ever to pick a tool that matches their style, their workflow, and the stories they want to tell.